Dr. Christopher Tufton, chairman of the JLP's campaign committee. Meanwhile, Dr. Dana Morris Dixon says the achievement-based campaign was the vision of party leader Dr. Andrew Holness.
This campaign was hard, but the Prime Minister did set the groundwork, and that's why I'm even more proud to be a part of this, because he said, this is going to be a clean campaign. We're going to campaign on our achievements. And, there's some people who would say you can't really campaign on achievements and that positive campaigns don't work and that you have to go negative. And our Prime Minister said no.
Dr. Dana Morris Dixon and the chairman of the JLP's Manifesto Committee, Kamina Johnson-Smith, says the document was a key contributor to the party's historic victory.
In terms of our engagement and the fact that we committed to you that we would do it differently and did so by making sure we had 5 documents produced. Again, all paying due respect and regard to how people want to engage with information. We had our interactive map on the website that allows you to go through and see all the infrastructural developments that have been taking place. And I want to share with you that we had close to above 70,000 views of our documents.
Kamina Johnson-Smith, the chairman of the Manifesto Committee. And the chairman of the JLP's Communication Task Force, Abka Fitz-Henley, says the lies told about Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness undermined the PNP's bid to win the battle for Jamaica House.
In terms of the institutionalized spreading of misinformation from the bloggers and to the highest level of their party, where it almost appeared as if lying from the political platform was something commonplace and something tolerated. Up until the last day of the campaign, well, not of the campaign, on general election day, the bloggers were circulating false information, lies about the Prime Minister and the Jamaica Labour Party leader. I believe that sort of mendacity, which was promulgated from the platform of the PNP during their campaign, backfired on them.
Abka Fitz-Henley, chairman of the JLP's Communication Task Force. The CARICOM Observation Mission has given high marks to Jamaica's electoral system following Wednesday's general election. The team says the election properly represented the will of the Jamaican people. Fern Narcisse is served as the chief of mission from CARICOM.
The mission's general assessment of the day's activities is that the voters were able to cast their ballots without intimidation or harassment, and that the results of the general elections of 3rd September 2025 reflected the will of the people of Jamaica and reinforced their commitment to the democratic process.
CARICOM was invited by the Electoral Commission of Jamaica to observe Wednesday's poll. The community deployed a 10-member election mission to observe the electoral processes. Ms. Narcisse also praised the EOJ and the ECJ for the conduct of the polls.
As Chief of Mission, I also had the opportunity to visit the Election Center of the Electoral Commission of Jamaica on polling day. The mission observed that the center functioned effectively as a central hub for monitoring electoral operations nationwide. The atmosphere reflected a high level of collaboration and cooperation between the Electoral Office of Jamaica and the wide range of stakeholders present, including representatives of the security forces, political parties, and civil society. Issues raised throughout the day were addressed in a timely and coordinated manner, demonstrating the ECJ's commitment to transparency, responsiveness, and the smooth conduct of the electoral process.
Fern Narcisse, the chief of CARICOM Election Observer Mission. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Shalois Michael. Sports is next.
Need fast, reliable delivery? Speed Services has you covered. We offer air freight 2 times weekly and sea freight once a week. Perfect for getting your packages to Jamaica fast. Just visit speedshipja.com. That's speed with 3 E's. Need a bearer, food delivery, or local delivery for your business? Call or text 876-484-8850 and follow us on Instagram at speedshipja. That's speed with 3 E's. Speed Services, where speed meets service.
Valley, we a big deal when we touch ground. Yeah, I can't see where we're pulling up. Anything for the taste where we love. Barbecue, spicy and original, flavorful, crispy, irresistible. 3-piece with the fries and a Pepsi. Go get your one big taste, stop stress me. All of me the pan, the toilet, no left foot. It's a big anything for the taste of a juicy, crunchy, irresistible KFC big deal. 3 pieces of delicious chicken, fries and Pepsi. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Getting ready for school is as easy as KB. Shop at Kingston Bookshop between July 14 to September 6, 2025 for your chance to win big in our back-to-school promotion. Spend just $5,000 before GCT, shop online or in-store, and you could win $150,000 in cash, an HP laptop, or a Samsung Galaxy Tab A9. It's back to school the easy way, only at KB. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Good evening with your sports reporter, I'm Alex Webby. We start with track and field. Manager of Jamaica's team to the World Athletics Championships, Ian Forbes, had high praises for the facility housing the athletes at a 9-day training camp in Tottori Prefecture in Japan. Forbes told the Nationwide Sports on Thursday that the training base has all the amenities to cater for athletes, world-class athletes, and that the Jamaicans are making full use. This marks the third time Jamaica's athletes are training at the camp, having done so ahead of the 2021 Tokyo Olympic Games and the World Championships in Beijing in 2015. Meanwhile, Forbes says the camp itself has been a success so far, with a large number of the athletes already checked in and most training twice per day. The camp is set to end on September 9, a day before the team embark on an hour-long flight into Tokyo for the start of the World Championships on September 12.
All in all, it has been going well. Our coaches are here, our massage therapists, our doctor, all the support staff are in place. Things are going pretty well. In terms of persons here, I would say we should have close to 50 athletes in camp. And of course, the management team and the other support staff as well. So all in all, I think it has been going very well. The food is good, the wide variety, and the Tottori Prefecture has been going all out to ensure that they're as comfortable as possible.
Ian Forbes. Nationwide 90 FM will have live coverage of the championships starting Friday, September 12. The Olympic 200 meters champion Letsil Tibogo of Botswana says Jamaican megastar Usain Bolt was a major influence in his career as a track athlete. Tibogo, who famously told the media that if he was not an athlete, he'd probably be in crime, says Bolt's jaw-dropping performances persuaded him to choose athletics over other competing interests.
As of now, family asked them how did they feel me changing from football to athletics, and then they supported the motion like, let's give athletics 4 years. If it doesn't work out in 4 years, then we'll see where to go next. By the time when we did that transition, Usain Bolt, he was the hottest thing in the sport. Even though he retired 2017, but it went on up to 2019 when we came in. We still knew that nobody could beat him. So that's how I came up. I want to be like him.
Tibogo is heading to the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, Japan, with the 5th fastest time in his pet event, the men's 200 meters, having clocked 19.76 back in July. For the 100 meters, Tibogo is yet to crack the 10-second mark this season. Sports analyst Leighton Levy believes rising sprint star, national 200 meters champion Brian Lavelle could be the game changer for Team Jamaica at the upcoming Tokyo World Championships this September. Lavelle has his personal best of 9.82 seconds in the men's 100 meters, and he was a part of the quartet that won silver at the 2025 World Relays. With Jamaica poised to challenge for gold in the men's 4x100 meters relay and possibly in the individual sprints, Levy says Lavelle's form and presence could be what separates gold from silver.
Jamaica has a very good chance of winning the men's 4x1 relay if Brian Level is included in the final quartet. There is word that he might choose not to participate. If he does not, I think Jamaica has a strong chance to come away with a silver medal or bronze medal in the event. On the women's side, I think similarly again, a silver or bronze for the women in the 4x1 women, because I think the Great Britain and of course the USA are teams that are stronger than Jamaica or as strong as Jamaica's best quartet that we could put out for the women's 4x1.
Leighton Levy. Now, Steve McLaren, head coach of Jamaica's national senior men's football team, says he's prepared his players for a tough showdown against lowly ranked Bermuda when the two clash at the National Stadium in Hamilton in a CONCACAF final round World Cup qualifying encounter on Friday at 5 p.m. Jamaica time. The Gambia Warriors are currently ranked 162nd in the world, 92 places below the Reggae Boys, who are ranked number 70 on the FIFA World Rankings. However, McLaren says he's taking nothing for granted because it has the potential to be a tricky tie.
I said to all our players, this is not going to be an easy game, and we need to fight. We need to be together. We need to match Bermuda's spirit. If we do that, then we have a good chance of winning the game. If we don't do that, Bermuda can be very dangerous.
Naki Wells, who plays for League One side Luton Town in England, is Bermuda's best-known player, and having coached him at Queen's Park Rangers, McLaren is more than qualified to warn against the dangers the 35-year-old possesses.
Naki's very dangerous. I signed him for QPR. I remember from London the train up to the northwest to convince him to come to QPR. We were struggling at the time. We needed a goal scorer. He came in. He was fantastic. Not just on the field but off the field. Great character, very bubbly, very positive, and a goal scorer all his career.
Steve McLaren. Jamaica will play their second game of the FIFA World Cup qualifier next Tuesday when they clash with Caribbean rivals Trinidad and Tobago at the National Stadium at 7 p.m. Trinidad and Tobago will, in the meantime, square off with Curacao in the group's other game also on Friday. Sri Lanka under-19s took a 2-1 lead in their 7-match ODI series against the West Indies following an 8-wicket victory at Coolidge Cricket Ground on Thursday. Set 139 to win, the tourists reached the target in 22 overs for the loss of just 2 wickets. Opener Viran Shamuda Ditha, 64 from 70 balls, and Kavija Gamaj, 28 not out, shared in an unbroken third wicket stand of 90 to see them home. The young West Indians had been bowled out for 138 inside 39 overs. Singhu Fontaine led the scoring with 51 from 66 ball, while captain Joshua Dorn made a 29 and Tariq Bryan 24. Final scores: West Indies 138, Sri Lanka 139 for 2. Game 4 will be played on Sunday at the same venue. Jamaica's national women's netball team and the Sunshine Girls continue to solidify their status among the sport's global elite, ranking third in the latest world netball rankings released this week. The Jamaicans now sit just 2 rating points behind second place New Zealand, narrowing the gap between the two longtime rivals. More significantly, the Sunshine Girls have opened up a comfortable 7-point lead over England, who remain in 4th place. This ranking confirms Jamaica's sustained rise in international netball, following impressive performances in recent years. President of Netball Jamaica, Karen Barr, says it's important for Jamaica to maintain their top 10 status.
These rankings also determine who is going to be invited to the Commonwealth Games next year, which is typically the top 12. So Jamaica and Trinidad, therefore, would be automatically invited to the Commonwealth Games. It's going to be important what happens in the international window later this year.
Barr says they'll be making good use of the international window.
We do have the Horizon Series against England already set, and that will happen in December of this year, so we can look forward to that. We'll play England in Jamaica first this year. The tournament starts in Jamaica and ends in England, so we'll play England here on December 6th and 7th, and then we go to England for the last two games on the 13th and 14th. And early next year, we're hoping to have another series. We should be able to confirm that in another few weeks. And then we move into the Commonwealth Games in the summer.
Karen Ball. Jamaica's 5-member team is in Honduras for the 3-day Central America and Caribbean game, which started today. The team include Lila Bell, Dejanae Garwood, Jabri Grant, Cilla Price, and Emilia Sharp. They will be led by head coach Tristan Hall and supported by team manager Samantha Bell. President of the Jamaica Gymnastic Association, Nicole Grant, expressed enthusiasm about the team's readiness for this early season competition.
They would have changed levels during the summertime. So it's the first time they will be competing. And then later on in December, end of November, December, that's when they will basically start their competition season with the Jamaica Classic and the National Trials. It's a good way to really assess their readiness for future competitions. The coach usually knows best, and he would have placed them in the level that would best suit them to execute their skills at the best level.
Nicole Grant. This is a nationwide World Championships countdown. Now, as the countdown to the World Athletics Championships Tokyo 2025 continues, the nomination process for the World Athletes Coaches Commission is now open. Individuals interested in becoming members of the commission are invited to submit their nomination. The Coaches Commission will ensure coaches voice sharp World Athletics decisions, providing a forum to advance elite coaching initiative through precise and policies and projects advised to the World Athletes Council. That was Nationwide's World Championship Countdown. I'm Alric Swiby, and that's your sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:23.
Looking for a jam or preserve to fill your sweet cravings, but worried about calories or high sugar content? Well, look no further. Try Smucker's sugar-free fruit jams and preserves with so many tasty flavors to choose from. Grape jam, strawberry, red raspberry, blueberry preserves, and orange marmalade. With a name like Smucker's, it must be good. Find them at retail outlets island-wide. Distributed by Chassis Ranson.
Want to reduce your high electricity bills? Then Peak Energy has the solution for you. From grid-tied to hybrid solar inverters with full lithium-ion battery pack. Installation and maintenance packages available. Visit us at Shop 1, 3 Mosquito Valley Road, Red Hill, St. Andrew. Call 876-279-8820 or 944-0668. Or email us at peakenergysolutionsja@gmail.com. Peak Energy for everything solar.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Roby Ann Williams. A special good evening to our friends on our YouTube platform. Thank you so much for tuning in. We ask you to weigh in live in the comment section on today's Public Opinion. At 53 years old, Dr. Andrew Holness has achieved political greatness. He becomes the first leader of the 82-year-old Jamaica Labour Party to be given a third mandate by the Jamaican people. He's only the second Jamaican Prime Minister to achieve the feat, drawing level with P.J. Patterson's achievement sealed in the 2002 general election. Prime Minister Holness reacted to the JLP's win while addressing jubilant Labourites at the party's Belmont Road headquarters on Wednesday night.
Jamaica won this election. Yes, the majority of voters decided to choose Jamaica. Make no mistake about it. This was not victory by default. Make no mistake about it. This was not an easy victory. Make no mistake about it. This was a fight. But we did not descend my political organization. We did not descend to the gutter to fight. We did not seek to trick the people to win. We did not seek to tear down anyone to lift up ourselves. We did not seek to tear down Jamaica in order to be able to administer the affairs of Jamaicans.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. So in public opinion this evening, we're asking, we want to know from you, the people, what's your reaction to the outcome of yesterday's general election? To that question, I'll start with the comments on our X platform, where Graham Jervis is saying, we dodged a bullet. Andre Lawrence saying to us, honestly, I'm hurt. This election wasn't just politics, it was lies, trickery, personal and family attacks, millions spent to buy out targeted seats. They thought money and deceit could override the will of the people, but God saw everything, and even after all that, they still lost. DSB is saying, my heart is full. After all that was thrown at Andrew Holness, the coordinated attacks from many, today he is standing as 1 p.m. To God be the glory, great things he had done, says DSB. God has made Andrew's enemies his footstool. Listen keenly is saying, undecided helped the JLP base to secure a victory, giving credence to performance-based politics. Undecided don't like cas and negativity. Shanique is saying, thought it would have been at least 36, 37 seats for the JLP. Shocked at Anne-Marie Vaz's seat, feels sad for Big Rob. Otherwise, shower. Sean is saying the biggest takeaway from yesterday's election is that the PNP's base is no longer large enough to win an election. This means there is a gradual shift away from Jamaica being PNP country. What's your reaction to the outcome of yesterday's general election? I go now to our Facebook platform where Judith Thorpe is extending congratulations to the JLP. She says, in everything, God knows all, knows best. He sets up and he takes down. Both PNP and JLP claimed a victory. To be coming from 14 seats to 29 is something to be happy about. And for the JLP to win, congratulations. Frassout is saying some people will have to just drive past Jamaica House. Prince Wellington saying weeping and mourning and gnashing of teeth. George Elliott is saying it was a good win, but questions about the loss of JLP's safe seats. For Herman Harris, he's saying, we the statistician, very average Jamaican, complain of the low voter turnout, 39%. Imagine we had 60% voter turnout with the vast number of issues with the electoral process would have been amplified. He's saying prior to the 1940s, a minor of Jamaicans voted for the masses. The more things change, the more they remain the same. Robert Ranger says, I'm feeling great. Jamaica won. History it was. Bro God retired. 3 opposition leaders. 2 to never become prime ministers. Audley Nain says, thank God you spared us from the hurricane that was about to hit. For Natalie Winter, she's saying Jamaica is the winner. Candidates who want to be MP must work for the people and be there for them. Performance pays. Jeffrey is saying, my biggest disappointment was the voter turnout, and both sides had such a great campaign. What's your reaction to the outcome of yesterday's general election? On our Instagram, Alicia Kelly is saying, sometimes no matter how much progress and evidence you show, some Jamaicans choose to overlook it. They'd rather trade proven results for empty promises. Ungrateful, but that's the reality of politics here. Chris Duncan says it was bittersweet. The JLP lost a few battles, but won the war. Action and lost, and she worked so hard. Slowly, Danny Lawrence lost. Col is saying, relieved, I love to see more progress in hometown St. James. Cashier is saying, time come and done, or that should be Kesa, is saying, time come and done. DJ Bad Indian, close election, love the outcome, cause my side win, but upset about Anne-Marie seat. Best believe I've been seeing the comments and tracking the posts on social media. I think the biggest unbelievable for many, and I'm speaking based off what I've seen on social media, I think the biggest one is East Portland. Nobody, well, I wouldn't say nobody, that one came as a shocker to many, especially for those posts that I've seen on the various platforms. CD is saying we need voting reform. The current system is overly complicated. It's difficult to vote, transfer your vote, or even get properly registered. The process is slow and inefficient. This outdated approach contributes to low voter turnout, especially among younger generations. And CD tagged the ECJ on this one. And I think many, well, not, I wouldn't say many, I wouldn't put a figure to it, but I've certainly heard those views of late. Ms. Lady is saying, still can't believe me never get none at the 10G, 20G. Would you look at this or any other amenities me here did I give away for this election? Okay. Shaz said, I can't believe Anne-Marie lose her seat. Amount of things PNP give away, okay. Allegedly, Marshall Hookie. Cover yourself. Anyways, let's go now to our YouTubers. What's your reaction to the outcome of yesterday's general election? Let me see what our YouTubers are saying as soon as the YouTube stream comes up. Yesterday was a day and a half. Felt like a whole month for me. I mean, I hear people complain about the voting process, how hard it was, how difficult it was to stand in the long lines. For me, it was in and out. I cast, when I voted, I looked at the time and it was 7:17, and then I came out at about 7:21. So it was smooth. It was smooth for me. Errol Morris says, good win, but too close. JLP lose too many seats. Pro Gamer says, lots of people on the voters list gone live overseas. Let me see. Remember, it's not over until the fat lady sings, says Michael Ray. Third term up and running, says JD. Roger Shippey is saying the diaspora coming home to vote in large numbers is very good evidence of how important this election was. Winston Haywood says, I feel so bad for Action Ann, but God is not sleeping with all the work she do. With all the work she did, yes, looking in from Washington, D.C. I think many people on social media have been sending love to Anne-Marie's way. I think that I haven't seen anybody really expressing any great concern. I think Robert Miller as well, people were saying that they expected for him to advance and become a second-term MP. Bittersweet, says Charmaine Clark, for Action Ann, very sad about it. Well done, PNP. Congrats, JLP. It's over now. Let's unite one Jamaica. And on that note, I will end. Thank you guys so much for participating in Public Opinion. The Business Report is up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:35.
Visit Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore, for all your prescription needs, gifts, personal care, household, and stationery items. The temperature by Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 24 out west in Montego Bay. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. A U.S. federal court has told Google to pay $425 million for breaching users' privacy by collecting data from millions of users even after they had turned off a tracking feature in their Google accounts. The verdict comes after a group of users brought the case, claiming Google accessed users' mobile devices to collect, save, and use their data in violation of privacy assurances in its web and app activity settings. A Google spokesperson told the BBC that it plans to appeal the decision. President Donald Trump has asked the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn a lower court decision that found many of his sweeping tariffs were illegal. In a petition filed late on Wednesday, the administration asked the justices to quickly intervene to rule that the president has the power to impose such import taxes on foreign nations. A divided U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit last week ruled 7-4 that the tariffs Trump brought in through an Emergency Economic Powers Act did not fall within the president's mandate, and that setting levies was a core congressional power. The case could upend Trump's economic and foreign policy agenda and force the U.S. to refund billions in tariffs. And finally, in the currency markets, at the close of trading today, it cost 161 Jamaican dollars and 16 cents to buy $1 US, 217 Jamaican dollars and 10 cents to buy $1 British pound, and 118 Jamaican dollars and 70 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Good evening.
Looking for superior quality transportation from an international award-winning provider? Well, look no further. Choose Island Car Rentals, Jamaica's leading car rental company, setting the standard for quality transportation in Jamaica. For over 50 years, Island Car Rentals has been your trusted partner for reliable, top-quality vehicles. But we're more than just a car rental company. Need an airport transfer at any hour? Heading out of town and want to travel in style with a private chauffeur? Need a truck to rent for business or personal use? Or maybe you need a customized shuttle or tour for a large or a small group. Whatever your transportation need, Island Car Rentals has you covered. Call us today at 876-926-8012 or 876-929-5875 or visit www.islandcarrentals.com to book your next trip. Because Island people take better care of you.
Are you ready for something mega? Spend $6,500 or more before GCT, drop your entry in the box, and you can win a 2025 Hyundai Tucson. It's the Mega Wheels Tour promotion, April 5th to September 28th. Second prize, a $50,000 shopping spree every month for a year. Third prize, a $30,000 shopping spree every month for a year. Brought to you by Hyundai, Redstone, Heineken, True Milk, Grace, Walker's Wood, Downing, CPJ Daiquiri, and Carryshurst. Choose Concentrate. Only at Megamart. Locations island-wide. Megamart, best value by far. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Rating, Gaming, and Lotteries Act.
Multi-link, access every time, everywhere I go. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the Multi-Link logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my Multi-Link?
Jamaica's largest tile selection just got even bigger. Discover what's new at Active Home Center. With our latest arrivals, it's easier than ever to make your space truly unique. Explore ocean blues, botanical greens, and soft sandy neutrals that bring a calm, effortless vibe. From bold patterns to sleek, large format tiles in glossy or matte finishes, every room makes a statement. Shop now at Active Kingston and Montego Bay. Active Home Center. More savings, more choices.
track and field's global showpiece heads back to Asia for its 2025 staging. The World Athletics Championships from Tokyo, Japan is live on Nationwide 90 FM. September 13 to 21.
Great start from Seville, who's got a little bit of a march on Noel Lyles. Seville's going to win this. Brilliant race. He even has time to salute.
How will the Jamaicans stack up? The likes of Kishane, Oblique, Nikisha, Tina, Sherika, and Lavelle, all seeking podium spots.
Really good running on the near side too from Tia Clayton. Tia Clayton takes it there.
And the world will say goodbye to Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce.
Watch for Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce.
She brings the curtain down on her 18-year career. She goes back to where it all started.
And she's going to do it. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce.
Live every moment from the World Athletics Championships from Tokyo, Japan, September 13 to 21 live with a kind of coverage only Nationwide 90 FM provides.
Not a mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all schoolers who are taking this.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio. My team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team, Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
As a parent, you give your children a good start in life. You nurture, protect, and guide them. Parenting is a process that prepares your child for independence. As your child grows and develops, there are many things you can do to help your child. Stay tuned to The Big Show, Nationwide this morning, for parenting tips. Fridays at 6:53 a.m. Only here will you learn everything you need to know about parenting. Tips to help parents navigate the incredibly challenging and rewarding journey of child rearing. Parenting tips on Nationwide at 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Oh God, once again! Sunday is a day for reflection and praise. So start it with Lutheran Ministries in Jamaica.
God, we know you're gonna bless us.
Listen to Nationwide 90 FM every Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m. for the Lutheran Hour. Brought to you by the Lutheran Ministries Jamaica, located at 33 Courtney Walsh Drive in Kingston. That's the Lutheran Hour, Sundays at 8:30 a.m. on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Visit or contact the Jamaican Lutheran Hour at 33 Courtney Walsh Drive, Kingston 10. WhatsApp or call 876-348-9085. Find us on Facebook at Jamaica Lutheran Hour or email lutheranh@gmail.com.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the nation's business. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And my name is Sanjay Lewis. Well, the PNP's Isaac Buchanan, Zulika Jess, Dr. Alfred Dawes, and Nikisha Burchell are among those who will serve their very first terms as members of Parliament. Buchanan pulled off a stunning upset to unseat the JLP's Anne-Marie Vaz in East Portland. He tallied 135 votes more than Vaz. Jess secured 596 votes, more than the JLP's Delroy Slowly in Northeast St. Elizabeth.
The PNP's Deputy General Secretary Nikisha Burchell came out on top in South St. James. She beat the JLP's Homer Davis by 207 votes. Alfred Dawes unseated the JLP's Robert Miller in Southeast St. Catherine by just over 500 votes. In the meantime, the GLP's Favour Williams, Juliet Holness, and Juliet Cuthbert Flynn created history by winning their respective seats in 3 consecutive elections. They're the first candidate to do that, and of course the only women. Favour Williams retained Eastern St. Andrew, turning back a challenge from the PNP's Patricia Duncan Sutherland by 438 votes. Juliet Holness retained East Rural St. Andrew, defeating Patrick Peterkin by 866 votes. And Juliet Cuthbert Flynn romped home in West Rural St. Andrew, defeating the PNP's Joan Gordon Webley by well over 1,000 votes.
And while joining us to discuss further, we have the outgoing Member of Parliament for South East St. Catherine, that's Robert Miller, and the Member of Parliament-elect for West Rural St. Andrew, Juliet Cuthbert Flynn. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening, Sanjay. Good evening, Ricardo. Good evening,
I'm
Juliet.
in the hills, so I'm not really hearing that well. I'm not sure if you can hear me, but it's very low.
Well, we're hearing you very clearly.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to have to really try, but let me just say good evening to your listeners and good evening to everyone.
All right, so let me start with you then, just in case the line goes bad. You've made history, Mrs. Cuthbert Flynn, and you did it in spectacular form. Over 1,000.
Sorry, I will not be able to.
Not hearing us.
I'm not really hearing, so I'm going to have to try to find another section of where I'm driving to try to listen to what it is that you're saying.
Okay. Juliet Cuthbert Flynn there, the Member of Parliament-elect for West Rural St. Andrew. All right, let's go to Robert Miller. Mr. Miller, what went wrong?
Let me say good evening to your listeners again. I'm actually going through the... Yes, are you hearing me?
Yes, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are hearing you.
Yeah, madam. I'm actually going through the numbers as we speak. They are not fully in as yet. However, the machinery yesterday was up. We got more votes than the last election. The turnout of voters were very low in the constituency. As to what transpired, could not give you a definite answer currently. But, you know, we're doing a post-mortem and we're dealing with the issue to find out where we went wrong.
You would have done your canvassing, Robert Miller. In doing that canvassing, did you recognize that you were falling short, or were you confident of victory?
Our canvass showed that we were above by our opponents, far above. And when we look at the persons who we canvassed and the persons who came out yesterday, then, you know, we fall short in that regard. Some of the persons that said that they were coming to exercise their civic duty did not show up. So, you know, it's just a part of the game. That's how it is. And we win some, we lose some. So we just have to regroup and come again with the hope that people in Jamaica, not only in Southeast St. Catherine, but in Jamaica, will take elections seriously and exercise their franchise to vote.
Go ahead, Sanjay.
And you mentioned, Robert Miller, that I know we're going to do a more deeper assessment, but when you were calling those individuals yesterday to find out, you know, if they voted and trying to get them to come out and vote, and they told you no, or your workers no, what were some of the excuses that they gave to your workers?
No, they didn't tell us no. You know, they told us that they were coming. You know, majority of the constituencies of such that we had persons in a particular area making calls like a week before the election as well, and it matches our canvas. And then we called yesterday again repeatedly. The seat is of such persons traverse to Kingston, to Spanish Town, to Maypen for work, and they come in, majority of which went to work and decided to take the 3 hours to come back. So when we called them, we got a favorable response. You know, we got a few negatives when our team called persons, and the persons that were called and the persons who actually turn up to vote, you know, is not showing that. We fell short where that is concerned.
And have you been in contact with Dr. Dawes?
Yes, I called him, and I would like to say publicly, I called him yesterday, and I congratulated him on his victory. And we exchanged of words, and I want to publicly congratulate him on his victory yesterday. The people of Southeast St. Catherine deserve good representational politics, and I'm expecting him to bring that to the table and to deal with everyone in the constituency, not just those who support his party, but everybody in general, not only opposition, meaning the People's National Party, but the Jamaica Labour Party, and also those who don't support a political party. We want him to bring that representation to the constituency of Southeast St. Catherine.
Mr. Miller, you weren't successful at the polls, but obviously your party will continue for a third term in government. What do you envision for yourself going forward? Mr. Miller? We're speaking to the outgoing Member of Parliament for Southeast St. Catherine, Robert Miller, and we crave your patience. As we said to you, we're having some technical challenges arising from that lightning strike yesterday. This is Mr. Miller. No, still not hearing you. This was always going to be a tough one to retain, yes. Sanjay. It leans heavily towards the People's National Party. Mr. Okay. Right. Did you hear the last question I posed?
No, what was it, please?
Right. I was saying to you, you weren't successful at the polls, but obviously your party continues in government. I was asking, what do you envision for yourself going forward?
It's just a wait and see. I'd have to take the time. I'm in dialogue. I spoke to my team this morning, my office staff. We had a meeting. We had some supporters here as well at the office. That we had a small meeting, and I'm in discussion with my family as to the way forward. One thing for sure, I'm a strong supporter of the Jamaica Labour Party. I believe in the Jamaica Labour Party ideology. I will always be here to agitate for the people of Southeast St. Catherine, a place that I'm thankful and humbled for the opportunity to represent. I had 5 good years, and I gave it my best shot. I have tangible stuff to show what I've done to enhance the constituency of Southeast St. Catherine, and I will always be here for them to agitate and ensure that I'm a watchdog, to ensure that they deserve the best that is coming from central government.
So in everything you're considering, if you're going to decide to stay on as the party's representative in that constituency, or you could very well step aside. That's what you're telling us.
I wouldn't want to say that, no. As I said, I do not believe in just leaving like that. As I said earlier, that we had a meeting this morning with the office staff. They're out of a job because I'm not the Member of Parliament. So we're trying to find ways in which we can assist them personally. So basically, as I said, I am here for the people of Southeast St. Catherine. I will continue to agitate on their behalf and ensure that good representation is brought to them. Ensure that I'm a watchdog to ensure that what they deserve and what they are given from central government is distributed.
Mm-hmm. And politics is a blood sport. It's a tough sport, yeah. And you would have turned around what is a seat that traditionally would vote for the PNP, turning it around from Colin Fagan back in 2016. Looking back at the work that you 2020, I beg your pardon. Looking back at the work
2020. Yes. 2020.
Mm-hmm. Looking back at the work that you have done since 2020 until now. Is it, looking back, is there anything that you would say you could have done better to get more support on the ground?
I couldn't pinpoint one thing. I'm not perfect, but I'm in the constituency every day. Since I won, I am visible to the people. I attend their church or a Sabbath because I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. I have office hours on a Thursday. Persons can come in and we discuss issues. I never waited until election to meet the people. I've been to the Citizens Association meetings. I might not get everything right. I might not have all the resources to satisfy the needs that are there. But I believe, looking back, that I did my best. The communities is of such that, as I said, is a proper dormitory community. Persons traverse to Kingston, Maypen, Spanish Town in particular for jobs. You know, majority of the time when I'm walking the communities, I have to start walking like 5 o'clock when persons are home, and then by 7, persons don't want you at their place after a certain time. So, you know, I've played my part. I have visited their homes. I've visited the homes of the bereaved, pray for them. I've visited them in the hospitals. You know, I could do so much and no more, right? I believe that I was accessible, I'm reachable. I've always answered my calls or returned my calls, and I have given them the representation that they truly deserve.
Robert Miller, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, and I want to say thanks publicly to the citizens of Southeast St. Catherine who have voted yesterday. I want to thank you for your support, and we will work together. We will be the watchdog to ensure that you get the representation that you deserve. Thanks for the 5 years that you have elected me to serve, and I embrace it, and I will always remember the memories. And let us continue to make Southeast St. Catherine a model constituency.
All the best.
Robert Miller there, the outgoing member of parliament for Southeast St. Catherine. I was saying, you know, Sanjay, that it was always going to be a difficult one.
A tough one, yeah.
And from all indications, from all I've heard and seen, he was a hardworking member of parliament. But that, you know, sometimes that's how the democracy goes. You win sometimes.
It was hard to unseat the base, the PNP base. And we've said it before on this very program, Ricardo, that the PNP, when the PNP's base is energized, you really have to come good in some of those seats that, you know, traditionally they vote for the PNP. And I'm looking back on the history of the seat, and Carl Rattray from 1989 passed over to Colin Fagan, and he did what was surprising to many, when he won in 2020.
I want to say something about yesterday's election, you see?
Yes.
Because there's a way in which there are so many people who deserve a lot of praise, a lot of commendations. And I think when people do good work, you ought to acknowledge it. And I want to start with the JLP's deputy leader for Area Council 1. I want to start there, Desmond McKenzie. Because listeners, viewers, Sanjay, you'd recall that the People's National Party was sure. They were sure that they were going to take down Favour Williams, take down Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, take down Juliet Holness. And Desmond McKenzie, from very early on out, started a series of Area Council 1 meetings. And I know because we broadcasted from a lot of them. And you could see the effort that was being made to shore up those seats and ensure that the activity in those seats, that it was strong. So I think he deserves credit. Central Kingston is the only one that fell, and fell very marginally. I think he deserves credit. The 3 women, the 2 Juliets, finance minister, really, really historic feat.
Yes.
I couldn't find in the history books another candidate who has won any of them, any of those 3 seats 3 times. And certainly no woman has ever achieved it. So it's just simply exceptional. In West Central St. James, Marlene Malahoo Fort. Over there in St. Anne, Crystal Lee. Tova Hamilton in Trelawney. Rhoda Moy Crawford in Manchester. Absolutely deserve their flowers.
Yeah.
And as my relative said, Dr. Chang.
Yes.
He said he was the GOAT. You should think about it because, sometimes when you're in the social media bubble, you lose sight of a lot of things. Dr. Chang was abused, online. Yeah. There was one picture where he was, dozing in Parliament. People abused him for sleeping on the job, not getting any results. He's had a really good year.
Yeah.
From a policy standpoint, yes. Yeah. And no, from a political standpoint, I think Dr. Chang should be hailed.
He will go down in history as one of the best general secretaries, I would think, of the Jamaica Labour Party.
Absolutely. And here's what I think people shouldn't miss about it. That he is so unassuming.
Yes.
He's never boastful. He doesn't come with a bombast. He simply just does the work. And let's remember, as security minister for a while, because it did take a while, and he alluded to that earlier, for the results to start to show. And we've forgotten now, but I certainly remember how people said he should resign, he should be fired. There was no crime plan.
And if I can just add one thing, Ricardo, I remember interviewing Dr. Chang on several occasions when I was on that other side. And he was always very consistent. We have a plan, we have to allow it time, and we will see the results. And we are actually seeing the results as we speak.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. Carencia Morrison as well, I think, deserves her flowers. I mean, I knew her from my days as a high school debater. She was a judge, but I certainly didn't know her as a politician.
Yes.
But I think she rose to the occasion brilliantly. She did a lot to energize the JLP's base and keep them excited. I think she should be commended. And finally, the Prime Minister himself. I've long said, whether you like him or not, and you don't have to like him, and I keep stressing that. Nobody's saying that you have to like Andrew Holness, right? But what you cannot deny is that he has to be remembered. He will be remembered.
He will.
As one of the truly great political leaders of this country, if not this entire region.
Yes, and let us not forget, Ricardo, and we spoke about it before, Andrew Holness had it hard in his own political party.
Yes.
Proving himself.
Yes. Yeah? Again, we forget, 2015 was a rough time. I remember that infamous meeting at Belmont Road when the opposition members gathered as to whether they should write to the Governor General to revoke his appointment as opposition leader. I remember those meetings.
I'm sure I heard someone said to him that he should document this, and I'm sure that book that he will write, I hope he will. If he decides to do that, it will be very interesting.
But fast forward to 2020.
Yes.
The second term. He becomes one of a few incumbents to survive post-COVID-19. And I know we have short memories, so we sort of, something happens and we just move on. And a lot of people tell me, they don't really remember COVID at all. That was a very trying time for this country.
Yeah, and the country did very well.
Came out on the other side largely unscathed. It wasn't perfect, but largely unscathed. And then to go on to confront the dogged lies, misinformation, attacks on him personally, his children, his wife. And then last night to stand there and be affirmed.
Yeah.
Because make no mistake, no matter what people say about minority governments and all that, nonsense, be very clear that he has been affirmed by the Jamaican people.
Oh, yes.
And I hope I sincerely hope that we can put to rest now the assaults on his character, his reputation. Because I tweeted earlier, I think people forget, politicians are people too.
Yes.
I think we forget that.
And Ricardo, that speech that he gave, it was very telling. He was saying in a sense, look, it was hard. We fought for it and we won. Yeah? And he should be celebrated.
I think so. And my final thoughts on what happened yesterday. I said that I would, try to concretize my thoughts on a particular worldview in this country that I thought was insidious and needed to be reined in. I take some comfort, I have to admit, that I think yesterday that worldview was defeated.
Mm-hmm.
There are elements in media, public commentators, members of civil society, who really, really took an odd, and I put it no stronger than that, odd, even bizarre posture about Andrew Holness and the JLP. And I don't know what it is, and as I say, I don't think people have to like him, but I think people should have been fair, and they weren't. Concerns about the powers of the office of the Prime Minister that were never raised before. Andrew Holness has not changed the powers of the office of the Prime Minister. He hasn't expanded them in any way. But all of a sudden, there were these odd questions, these odd comments, and I couldn't resist the temptation of thinking it was about Andrew Holness, the man. It simply was about the man and not any principle. It wasn't a principled position. And then the truly bizarre argument that if a government is elected to a third term, then it suggested that we were going to become an authoritarian. It was such a bizarre argument.
That's nonsense.
Nobody says that about St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying that about Barbados, where Mia Mottley will seek a third term. And so when I step back, you see, it was clearly just about him.
Yeah.
It was just about him. For whatever reason, there are people in this country in prominent roles, prominent positions, who just don't like him. And that's fine, Again, I have to make that point. That is fine.
But we need to be fair, Ricardo.
Just be fair. And if you say you're applying principles, then apply them fairly. Yeah, apply them fairly.
Yeah.
Apply them.
I heard Cliff this morning commending Mark Golding. Yeah. And I also want to commend him. And the YouTube chat, when Cliff said it, they went in a frenzy. Yeah? What is Cliff talking about? Mark Golding went on that platform last night, and he could have done what Portia Simpson Miller did when Andrew Holness defeated her, to say, it's not yet done. But he conceded, yeah? Indicated that he respects the democracy. And Andrew Holness won. And that, in my mind, is commendable of Mark Golding, regardless of what anyone wants to think about him. And it shows to the democracy of this country, yeah, that we have to celebrate. And we take it for granted, Ricardo. We really take it for granted. But we had an election that, for the most part, largely, was peaceful, yeah? And we had a winner, and the opponent conceded. That, for me, we also have to celebrate.
I agree with you that it was a good concession speech.
Yes.
But I do struggle, and I'm being very honest, I do struggle genuinely with the tone and content of the campaign that Mr. Golding ran. I struggle with that. And I struggle with the dissonance and disconnect that I saw last night in him conceding with the campaign that he ran. I haven't completely solidified my thoughts on it, but I think there is a disconnect. That Mark Golding who conceded last evening was not the Mark Golding
that was on the campaign
that we
trail.
have seen on the campaign trail. It wasn't.
That's true. Yeah.
It was not. And I don't know if in the quiet time when Mr. Golding gets to reflect, he'll reflect on how he and his party went after Andrew Holness, went after Juliet Holness, and how some of the surrogates of the People's National Party even went after the children of Andrew Holness. So I hear you. Good concession speech. I agree.
Yes.
But I struggle with the dissonance. I have to be very honest.
Yeah, I agree with you on that accord, Ricardo. But, you know, I wonder too if the PNP sometimes they listen. Remember the election before the 2016 or 2020 election that they tackled his house?
2016.
And it seemed as if they have not learned from that. And they come again, and the attacks that we saw against the Prime Minister, we have to call it out. And this blood and fire, comrade, I'm still trying to understand what exactly do they mean by that? I'm yet to get that.
Carlene Smith is asking me, what if he had done otherwise though, Ricardo? And that's why I said, Carlene, it was a good concession speech. I accepted that. Not denying that at all. But I have to call out that I feel there's a dissonance, you know, and I wonder, I really do, if he thinks it was worth it. Does he think it was worth it? Does Dr. Campbell, Dayton Campbell, think it was worth it? Sure, he has been elected to the parliament. But was it all of it ultimately worth it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Jamaicans said no.
Yeah.
They said no.
Hey, remember I told you though, Ricardo, about Westmoreland, that it would be a very hard one for the GLP to win. No, we had that conversation.
Yes.
Yeah. And when I saw the results, I wasn't surprised at all for Westmoreland. Westmoreland, as Dr. Chang indicated, is a tough one. Traditionally, they vote for, the majority votes for the PNP. Yeah. And I think it will take the GLP some time to put the right candidate or the right candidate in the 3 seats, more so central and western, to do the groundwork, to spend some time in that constituency, because it can be won. Yeah, when you look at the math, it can be won by either party. Yeah, but they have to do the work. So someone says we are forgetting the persons behind the scene, the strategists, the organizers, the campaign managers. And I heard Rhoda Moyes spoke today of our campaign manager. We have to celebrate them also.
Oh, no, absolutely.
They are behind the scenes doing the hard work, the tough work.
No, absolutely. And, you know, sometimes we like to talk about how, you know, party workers don't have nothing to do and them unemployed, all kinds of things that you see online. And we miss the point that these people run a very, very large-scale mobilization and organization effort that can rival some well-established companies. You know, think about it. You're moving, in some instances, up to 10,000 people in the space of what, 8 hours? That's quite an undertaking. Quite an undertaking.
Yeah. And when you speak to some of them behind the scenes, you know, Ricardo, they get the numbers right, you know. They tell you, we have X number of votes from this PD, and the opposition or the opposing party has X number. And you wonder sometimes, how is it that they get the game, the ground game, the canvassing so right? And it takes years of experience, but they're good at it.
Yeah. My final thought, obviously, it's now a closer parliament. What is it now, a 5-seat at this point? A 5-seat majority, is it? Yeah, 20. Am I right? 34, 29? Yeah. And so, you know, it's going to be more robust, obviously. For those who are online talking about, it's going to be difficult to get anything done, you know, your basic civics should tell you that the parliament just requires a bare majority to pass laws. And if you are talking about more, difficult things like constitutional reform, I think it's fair to say that was already dead, even where you had a 2-1 majority. The opposition didn't budge. So I don't expect that we were going to make any progress in the next parliament in any case. But it should be interesting. The Prime Minister
Bruce Golding, what? It was 32-28?
I think he had a 3-seat majority.
Yeah. And they strategized on how to pass certain bills that they needed to pass.
And the Prime Minister has an interesting job in the next few days, choosing the cabinet. I'm very interested to see the members of the cabinet.
Yes.
Do people like Robert Montague come back, the JLP chairman?
Will we see Audrey Marks?
Well, she was already in the cabinet, so yeah, we expect her to come back. And does Andrew Wheatley come back to cabinet?
Yes.
And does Juliet Holness continue as a Speaker of the House, or
will she get a ministry?
Is she appointed to cabinet? Mm-hmm. So it will be interesting to see. Is Julia Cuthbert-Flynn going to be elevated now to a minister in her own right? Rhoda Moy Crawford, Tova Hamilton? Because obviously looming over all of this is now the matter of succession. Mm-hmm. And how Dr. Holness begins to prepare the JLP for a post-Andrew Holness era. Or as he said, is a fourth term for the party could be in the offing, but is he going to continue well past the end of the third term? So it'll be interesting going ahead. But for those who voted, big up yourself. And for those who didn't, I say consider doing it the next time around. I think it's important that we all participate. And Jamaican people have had their say, and I hope now the country can move on, because we have other big issues to deal with. Right. And I hope we can now move on to those. It's 16 minutes after 7. We're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to give you some of the sounds of the aftermath of the general election.
As of June 1, Jamaica's minimum wage is now $16,000 per 40-hour work week, up 158% from 2016, marking the highest minimum wage in the nation's history. We are building Jamaica.
The time by the office of the Prime Minister is...
It's 17 minutes after 7.
Birdshot fried chicken always ready. Original crispy. Birdshot, Cajun spicy. Birdshot, a barbecue. Birdshot, we are the Birdshot.
The temperature brought to you by Birdshot Fried Chicken in Kingston, Montego Bay, and Ochivios is
29 degrees
looking for superior
Celsius in Kingston, 24. Oh, that's cool. Out west in Montego Bay.
Looking for superior quality transportation from an international award-winning provider? Well, look no further. Choose Island Car Rentals, Jamaica's leading car rental company, setting the standard for road transportation in Jamaica. For over 50 years, Island Car Rentals has been your trusted partner for reliable, top-quality vehicles. But we're more than just a car rental company. Need an airport transfer at any hour? Heading out of town and want to travel in style with a private chauffeur? Need a truck to rent for business or personal use? Or maybe you need a customized shuttle or tour for a large or small group. Whatever your transportation need, Island Car Rentals has you covered. Call us today at 876-926-8012 or 876-929-5875 or visit www.islandcarrentals.com to book your next trip, because Island people take better care of you.
This is the World Championships Athletes Profile.
The Jamaican starts well. Here's Shanika Ricketts, silver medalist. This is round one for Ricketts, who hit the board really well.
Triple jumper Shanika Ricketts will be attending her 5th World Championships as she leads Jamaica's medal charge in the event in Tokyo, Japan in September. The 33-year-old former Vere Technical High School standout appeared at the 2015, 17, 19, and 2022 editions and will be looking for her third medal, having bagged silver in Doha and Eugene. Jamaica's reigning Sportswoman of the Year has won medals at every major global championships, her biggest moment coming at the Paris Olympic Games in 2024, where she won silver.
Shanika Ricketts, twice a World Championship silver medalist, flies down the runway, hits the board brilliantly. Oh, Ricketts turns up to the party.
Ricketts is unquestionably one of the true global stars of the event, and she's steadily building into her season. Who'll bet against her finally hitting the top of the podium in the Japanese capital?
Every season the aim is to be on top of the podium. This season is nothing different, and I think I have too many silver medals now. I'm going for the gold this time.
Ricketts will be in action on day number 4 of competition in Japan on September 14. The final is 2 days later on September 16.
I think it's just about grit and just putting in the work. It doesn't matter what happens before you go into major championships, it's just what happens on the day. And the only way you can control that is by being consistent. So that's what I'm focused on doing.
Follow Shanika Ricketts at the World Championships in Japan on Nationwide 90 FM.
That was the World Championships Athletes Profile.
Back with you on Nationwide at 5. We're giving you some sounds now from the general election aftermath. Thank you for choosing Jamaica. That's how Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness reacted to the JLP winning a third term in office as he addressed jubilant Labourites at the JLP's Belmont Road headquarters last night.
I want to thank you, the supporters. You would know how much you mean to me. For all of you who squeeze up on the bus to come to the meeting, who go on the long motorcades with us, for all of you who take on the PMP them when you hear them with the lies. But for all of you who have stood up and chosen Jamaica, I say thanks to you, the supporters of the party. You make us stronger, and we stand here on your shoulders. I thank you. God bless you, and I love you. Today, Jamaica won. Jamaica won this election. Yes, the majority of voters decided to choose Jamaica. Make no mistake about it. This was not victory by default. Make no mistake about it. This was not an easy victory. Make no mistake about it. This was a fight. But we did not descend my political organization. We did not descend to the gutter to fight. We did not seek to trick the people to win. We did not seek to tear down anyone to lift up ourselves. We did not seek to tear down Jamaica in order to be able to administer the affairs of Jamaicans. We ran a clean, disciplined, focused, well-organized campaign, and we proved that we can run a decent campaign and win. And that is how Jamaica has won.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
That is how Jamaica wins. Our democracy by this election is proven to be intact. There are those who are trying to seed a view that the mere fact of a third term is a threat to democracy. There are those who are trying to carry the idea that regardless of how well a government performs and merits to be re-elected, it shouldn't happen because somehow that is a threat to democracy. Well, today has dispelled that because we went through the toughest battle in any democratic society in the region to stand here and say we will be the government for the third term. And I want that point to be understood. We contested the election with the highest level of decency and morality. The people came out. We do have our concerns about the turnout, but the people who voted, the majority spoke and chose Jamaica.
That's Prime Minister and JLP leader Dr. Andrew Holness, and in the meantime, the opposition leader Mark Golding was gracious in defeat. Addressing PNP supporters at the party's Old Hope Road headquarters, Golding said, while disappointed, democracy demanded that he concede.
All the people of Jamaica who are listening, watching, first of all, I think it's my duty as a believer in democracy to acknowledge and concede the result and to congratulate our opponents, the Jamaica Labour Party, for their victory tonight. Jamaica's democracy is important and we must cherish it. Sometimes it brings bitter disappointments. Sometimes those disappointments are laced with a tinge of a sense that not all is fair and just, but it is very, very important that we put democracy ahead of all of those feelings. And I accept the result of these elections, and although obviously I'm very disappointed in the outcome, I think it is only correct to expressly acknowledge the success that our opponents have managed to gain today. I want to thank a lot of people. And first of all, I have to thank the comrades and supporters of South St. Andrew for standing with me, for coming out today in their numbers, and for giving us a decisive victory in the constituency which I have the honor to serve. I also want to thank our campaign team, led by our campaign director, our General Secretary, Dayton Campbell, Dr. Dayton Campbell, also a newly minted Member of Parliament. Congratulations to him, and Westmoreland, and all the other members of the campaign team who worked with him. There are a number of names there. I don't want to attempt to go through all those names because I'm going to probably forget somebody and then I'll regret it. But they have done a tremendous job. The communications team, I want to thank them publicly for the work they have done. And that is a night and day kind of job. It starts very early in the morning and goes on till late at night. So their commitment to the task at hand is remarkable, and I want to thank them deeply for it. All of our candidates who ran in this election and their campaign teams, I want to thank them for their effort, for their commitment to the country, to the democratic process. I want to, of course, congratulate the 29 who have been successful tonight, and we have more than doubled our number of MPs tonight. And for those who were not first and didn't, they still committed themselves extremely well. And I want to say that this was a wonderful demonstration of the maturity of Jamaica's political process, that we could go through such a closely fought election without any violence to speak of. And we must all give ourselves a round of applause. In our homes, if you're listening, here at PNP headquarters, because that was not always the case. And I want to just thank all of the pioneers who led that process to where it is today, where I think we can safely say that Jamaica is a place that really cherishes and respects the democracy that we have built.
Mark Golding, the PNP president. We're going to attempt to take your calls now. The numbers are 630-937-124, 618-8255.
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Alan Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we're all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads podcast. It's a revolution in media.
Bobby, good evening.
Bobby. Yes, a pleasant good evening to you, Ricardo.
All right, no, Bobby, we were attempting to see if you could take the calls, if the lines were going to assist. As we told you, there was a lightning strike, but it doesn't seem that...
I think I'm hearing Bobby, Ricardo. Let's try again. Bobby?
No.
Okay, no.
No. All right, so, no, we're trying to take the calls, but it's not going to work. Yeah. Want to try again, Books? No? No. All right. So it's absolutely not going to work. Yeah. So we had, let's see what's going on what the YouTubers are saying. Michael Clark says, I may not be around the next election, but I don't think he will be the one contesting that one. By then, he'll be overthrown. Who are we talking about there, Michael? Shelley English says, my Gladbach boss. Butcher says, time come for a new PNP leader, Paul Well. Oh, okay. Fellow C says, civil society arguing for reparations, but nothing about the PNP. All right, no, Fellow C, not reading that one. Pekka says, I can just imagine how Warmington is elated. I think he was one of the few candidates to breach that 10,000 mark, wasn't he? Yesterday, I think so. Godfrey says, not once they cleared up the false accusation re the PM's bank accounts. Who didn't do that, Godfrey? Marlene says, as leaders, we need to have absolute good behavior. I hope we sit down to roll back the curtains to see if our behavior was up to par. We're not children, we're adult, and the world is watching. Full Disclose says, Ricardo, you need to talk to your pastor, Peter Espute. Peter Espute is not my pastor. He was a deacon at the parish I attended. Carlene says, Warmington always wins big. All right. So they are reacting and responding to yesterday's election outcome on YouTube. Let's take a break and come back with more.
Escape to Idler Wild and the grill where sand and serenity meet. Visit idlerwild.com or call 876-957-3302. Idler Wild and stay a while.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, by God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path, unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of The Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
As a parent, you give your children a good start in life. You nurture, protect, and guide them. Parenting is a process that prepares your child for independence. As your child grows and develops, there are many things you can do to help your child. Stay tuned to The Big Show, nationwide this morning, for parenting tips. Fridays at 6:53 a.m. Only here will you learn everything you need to know about parenting. Tips to help parents navigate the incredibly challenging and rewarding journey of child rearing. Parenting tips on Nationwide at 90 FM, the revolution in media.
We're back with you on Nationwide at 5. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
My name is Sanjay Lewis. Ricardo, I want to comment on this idea of a threat to democracy. Yeah, and I heard the Prime Minister spoke about it in his victory speech, because it's still confusing to me. How is it that having a third term is suddenly being branded as a threat to democracy? Because that's really nonsense. An election was called, it was contested, and the people voted. So the majority made their choice at the ballot box. And democracy is about the will of the people. So how then can we come with this argument about a threat to democracy? And we really have short-term memory, because we seem to have forgotten P.J. Patterson, who led the PNP to 3 consecutive terms in office. And then you ask yourself the question, was that a threat to democracy then? Or was it simply the people exercising their democratic right? And I would say that's exactly what they did. So why is it different now?
Because of who? Because of who it is. I think it has to do with who it is. Because as I say, a lot of, the same people, they praise Mia Motley, they praise Ralph Gonsalves. So I don't think it's about third terms or not. It's just about who.
Yeah.
And that might, there are many reasons why that may be so. But it's not a persuasive argument at all.
It's nonsense. Yeah, someone is asking, Ricardo, they want us to talk about the PNP and what's next for the PNP. Your thoughts?
I think that a lot of that depends on what Mark Golding wants to do.
Yeah.
I don't think a credible argument can be made for removing him or challenging him as the leader of the party. Say what you will about the strategy that he employed to get there, but he has significantly, I would say, brought back on board, on side, the People's National, the base of the party. Yeah. The comrades certainly were revved up, fired up, excited again about their party. And I think he deserves credit for that. I mean, that's quite apart from whether you think he took the right route to get to that. But he certainly has to be credited for that. And so I think it matters whether he wants to continue in opposition for another 5 years. How old is he? 60? How old is he? 63? Is he 63?
He's 60.
Let me just double check. Yeah, so I think it matters what he wants to do.
He's 60.
He's 60, okay.
Yeah.
So conceivably he'd be about 65. Yeah, I suppose that's relatively young, considering the ages of our former Prime Minister. Andrew Holness is the anomaly,
Yes.
Because at the end of his third term, he will be what, 56? 56. And that's at least almost 2 decades younger than his predecessors have stepped down. So, the question is, what does he do? But yeah, I suppose Mark Golding could decide to stick out the 5 years and see.
And definitely, I think that Mark Golding would have proved to the comrades that he can be their leader. Yeah, he would have taken the party from a nasty defeat, and they did creditably well at the polls. And I think the party really know they have to focus on their messaging, and they have to focus on being a responsible opposition, but at the same time keeping the government in check. And if they can do that while ensuring that they maintain their presence on the ground, then certainly in the next election, again, they could possibly be a great challenge to the JLP whenever that election is called. But I think that if they decide to go into a leadership race, and anyone deciding to challenge Mark Golding, it will cause some problems within the party and possibly could derail their chance of winning the next election.
A challenge wouldn't be wise. I don't see how that
would not
sense.
be wise at all.
My understanding is that the so-called RISE camp of the People's National Party has a pretty good grasp of the delegates list.
Yeah, man, they have solidified themselves, you know.
Peter Bunting is now going to be back in Parliament. Dayton Campbell will be back in Parliament. Ian Hales will be back in Parliament. So they would conceivably come to the table with their delegates behind them. Yeah. So I don't. Nikisha Burchell should be back if South St. James, remains as is. So I don't know. I don't know that would make sense. No.
I think that when they had
who would that challenge come from?
Well,
no, that's not rhetorical. I'm asking.
No, it's a good question. I hear some rumblings that Philip Powell was considering to run. Yeah.
Oh, I see. I think Philip Powell would have had a stronger hand if the seat count was not what it is.
Absolutely.
Which is essentially doubling it.
Yes.
If that had not happened, then perhaps, but I don't think in the face of a doubling, that could be a credible. No, I think Mr. Golding has earned his place as the PNP president and leader of the opposition.
Yeah, bringing back the party from that the local government election, and then performing well at the general elections. It's proven.
And that's quite apart from the strategy, what you think of the strategy and the path he took to get there, right?
Yeah.
But certainly it has to be acknowledged that he did that and achieved that, yeah. So I don't expect anything to change. I think a lot depends on what he wants to do, Is his heart still in it? Does he still want to continue?
Another question.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I don't foresee.
It would be foolhardy of them to.
I think so. David Crawford now has a seat. I'm sure he's still thinking about. He has made no secret his ambition to be PNP president. So perhaps he's still thinking about it. But both parties are going to have to enter into a period of transition as to what that looks like.
And Ricardo, say whatever you want about their strategy. We're taking that out of the picture. You still have to commend Dr. Campbell. He's the man behind the strategist behind all of it as GenSec to turn around that political party from 14 seats to what they have now, and also leading as their campaign director. Again, we're separating their campaign strategy. But from a very early stage when he became general secretary, one of the things that he spoke about was bringing back the party to basics, re-engaging the workers on the ground, doing their workers' meeting just to ensure that they're solidifying their base. And they did what they had to do to energize their base. Is it something that I necessarily agree with when you talk about blood on fire, comrade? Of course not. But they had their strategy. And what we see coming out from that election, they perform well.
I want to address something else because, Lord, this thing about misinformation and disinformation is going to be the end of us, I see suggestions, whispers, all kinds of innuendo about the outcome of the election in West Central St. Andrew last evening. And those comments come very close to suggesting that there was electoral fraud last night. People ought to be very, very careful and remember that because you didn't win, and because something appeared one way in the beginning, doesn't mean that it necessarily holds. And I'll give another example. Always growing up on election night, and I'll use East Rural St. Andrew as the example. The JLP candidate in East Rural St. Andrew would always start off very, very strong, because you probably get reports from Gordon Town, Mavis Bank, Dallas.
You have to watch where the boxes are coming
and from. Sometimes the Laborites will start celebrating, and then the count of the boxes in Harborview starts. And then there's just this surge, and then all of a sudden you hear that the PNP win the seat. Let's use another seat, Central Manchester. Mandeville comes in, yes, the Laborites are doing well, they're on them way to winning, and then the boxes from the hills of Belfield come in, and then all of a sudden the PNP win the seat. And you're like, wow, how did that happen?
Yeah.
I suspect very strongly that's what happened in West Central St. Andrew last night. I haven't looked at I haven't seen where the boxes came from, but the suggestion that Holness suddenly, and the suggestion is he suddenly got 2,000 more votes. It matters, people, where the boxes were remaining and where they came. And by the way, it's not unusual. It always is that way.
Yes.
Patrick Roberts was his name?
Yes.
Is his name? He's alive.
Yes,
Patrick Roberts.
Patrick Roberts.
Who ran against Holness all those times. He always was doing well in the beginning. He always did well in the beginning.
And remember, Ricardo, the Save Right Gardens division, that is a division that gets a prime minister a large number of votes. Yeah. And when we looked on the count that night, a majority of those boxes were not in as yet.
And you see, that is why media sometimes is irresponsible. Because the people sitting around tables last night should have made that point and made it forcefully. They should not have just allowed graphics to flash, showing the prime minister behind and then questioning, is he in danger of losing his seat? Those are reckless questions when they know or ought to know the facts and the truth. And so now what you have done, because you want, excite your audience to continue watching. I don't know if that was the objective. You've now caused people to be spreading all kinds of unfounded claims.
Yeah.
I just got a message, the fourth message I'm getting today, asking me if I've heard of ballot tampering. We have to do better than that, man. We have to do better than that.
And Ricardo, we have to give credit to the EOJ. Yes, we understand that in some polling stations, the voting process was slow because of the electronic machines that they were using, or presiding officers maybe new, whatever the reasons are. But generally, the process, it's a seamless process, And I think that the EOJ, regardless of all the issues that, we reported, they did well. And I trust the process. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the YouTubers are telling me Holness would be 58 at the end of the term. Thank you, guys. Yeah, but we shouldn't be spreading the rumors and no bother with that, man. No bother with that. And then I hear other things about boxes, Anyway, let me not even give
you see, again, Ricardo, these are individuals who they have not been following St. Andrew West Central. Yeah? They have not been following that constituency.
Yeah, if you didn't come out on top and that's just what it is, then redouble, regroup, try again. That's what democracy is about, And the next thing, the people who are demeaning voters for their choices, or people who dunce and who not dunce, don't do that. Don't do that. People make decisions and sometimes they are irrational decisions, and you wonder to yourself, boy, how you do that? I wouldn't do that. You understand? But that don't mean them dunce.
The other person is dunce.
Yeah. No, man, don't do that. Don't do that. Duncher said, Ricardo Cliff, you said it last night that the last two boxes to be counted was from Andrew Speedy. Well, okay. Richard says, did NNN state where the boxes were coming from? Yes, Richard. Cliff did say it, as you the comment above yours answers that question. Mikhail says, Brooks, don't let your blood pressure rise. No, man, blood pressure not rise. I'm just saying that, people should be clear. Gravity says, Ricardo, it is said that one of your colleagues at NNN made that suggestion. Which one of my colleagues made that suggestion? Mona Smith says the campaign was based on rumors from the very beginning. Yeah. Keswick Hamilton says, while the GLP was working, PNP was campaigning for the past 5 years. Listen, here's the thing. You see that thing about, you have to find the balance though, You have to find the balance. And you always hear that the GLP is better at governing, and the PNP always best them at politics. So perhaps the GLP should consider how best to balance.
They have to
balance the two.
They have to.
Glory's telling me that Saeed made the suggestion and Cliff corrected it. Okay. I didn't hear him say that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Sanjay, you were saying?
No, I was saying it's very important that the GLP focus on, and I keep on saying it, ensuring that they have that ground game, because the PNP, they do it well. Yeah? And it's always been said that the GLP is better at governing, but they don't focus enough on ensuring that they're doing the groundwork to secure themselves for another term, and it's something that they really have to focus on by tomorrow.
Gravish says, Ricardo, how come you guys are not talking about Everett Warmington and his massive win? I don't think the win was. It's not a surprise. It's not a surprise.
That's not a surprise.
I think he consistently gets 10,000, if not close to 10,000.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. That's not a surprise at all.
Bobby Montague, I was watching that seat, Ricardo, and Bobby Montague, he did the work. Because remember, many individuals were saying that that seat is up for grabs.
I mean, I went there, as you know, and did some reporting, but I always maintained that the margin that he had coming out of 2020 was always going to be difficult to overcome. I always thought so, but good of the GLP chairman. Astley says, Sandra, I disagree. EOJ did poorly yesterday. It was a disaster at the polling stations. Long wait times after so many years. You can't get EVIS right. It is unacceptable. It was, Sanjay. It was
but we still have to celebrate the integrity of the process.
Certainly the integrity, yes.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Because remember I said that, yes, we had the issues with the electronic voter machine and the long waiting time, but we still have to celebrate the process.
The efficiency needs work. Because as I say, I got to my polling station around about 15 minutes to 7, and I didn't vote until something like, 10 minutes to 8?
Yeah, that's too long.
And I hear of people who waited for up to 2 hours.
And I heard one caller, was speaking to George and indicated that she left the line. It was just the wait was just too long.
Yeah. So they do have to improve on that. But otherwise, I have full faith and confidence in the
process,
in the integrity. Yes.
Yeah.
The integrity of the process. All right, that's where we're gonna leave it. Yes. So people are asking me about the calls. Remember, I said to you, because of the lightning strike, we have a difficulty with the phone lines. And yes, there's also, Karen, a difficulty with YouTube. So yes, but we're working through those bugs. And we still have one new home, We still have a new home. So all should be well soon, eh? Books say, books are smile. All right, so that's where we're going to leave it. Thanks to our producer, Dana Davey. Thank you to the technical operator, Andrew Glenn Anderson. Bugs, he did good work today, considering the circumstances. The news and production team, thank you all so much. Our sponsors, contributors, and our YouTubers for keeping us company. Thank you. My name is Ricardo Brooks.
And my name is Sanjay Lewis. Wishing for you a wonderful evening.
Good evening.
This is the World Championship.